I was raised in Altadena. Altadena was a blast, man. You know, it was about community. It was about everybody, you know, playing together. It wasn't about you from the west side of Altadena, I'm from the east side of Altadena. You know, it was like everybody was together. Everybody knew each other. It was about, for us, that era was like baseball, man. You know, I was a Farnsworth boy. You know, it was always Farnsworth against, you know, West Altadena up on Loma Alta Drive and, you know, Villa Park. You know, it was just camaraderie. You know, it was like competition at its best. You know, and so that was a great part of my growing up was baseball. I think that kept me out of a lot of trouble, along with, you know, finding out that God had given me a talent to sing. So it was involved in church, you know, because Walt was not having it. You know, it was about being at the church house, being at choir rehearsal. So Altadena was about, you know, coming in when the street lights came on. No matter where you were, you was racing to get in the house. It was about street football. It was about street baseball. It was about hide and go seek. You know, it was just pure fun. You know, we had the Casio football games, but that was the extent of electronics, you know. So we had no choice but to mesh together and to be friends, you know. I remember when we were at Elliott, and Elliott went from a 7th grade, and because of Proposition 13, it was an all 8th grade school. It became McWilliott. And I think that was a great turning point in Altadena as far as community, because to this date, you know, my wife teases me every time I see somebody from Pasadena. She says, you always got to stop and talk to somebody. But, you know, I think it was because of how we all grew up, and we were all at one junior high school, middle school, boys and girls, and we all branched out to go to high school, Pasadena, John Muir, Blair, and I think some of it went to Marshall. So, you know, Altadena was great because it was like everybody came together, and from that point in Altadena, even though we did our own separate things in lives, you know, 30, 35 years later, you know, we can still say, you know, we're friends or we're associates, and it's, you know, no bad blood. It was a great place to grow up. Audubon, Altadena, Loma Alta, Elliott, McWilliott, Pasadena High. Wow. Food industry. You know, we just kind of stumbled into it, I guess, as a profession. My wife and I, we used to throw dinner parties. We used to invite friends over after church. We used to invite friends just to come over to fellowship with us. So as we were having these people over, they convinced us that our food was good enough to sell. And what happened was, I had a gentleman that was at church with us. He worked up at Fort Irwin, and he said that they were offering opportunities for people to sell their product. So he kind of convinced us. You know, we went up there and we started selling our product at this place called the Dust Bowl, and that was where the troops would come in to this army base, and they would train for Iraq. And we were one of the 4 vendors, and we started selling our product there, and just, you know, each event came another event, and we were up there for quite a while. So that's kind of like how we got into the food industry. Well, we've done some local things. We've done some high schools. We started off really doing the local stuff, doing the Pasadena Round Ball tournament with Tim Tucker, Coach Tuck, and we would host his events selling our product. We did introduce to other high schools, Alamany, Oaks Christian, Crespi, you name it, all the like private high schools we had an opportunity to be a part of, and we're still a part of those high schools. We do private events. We've had an opportunity to, when we were at Oaks Christian, had an opportunity to serve Jimmy Jam of the time, and I really wasn't aware that it was him. And we got to talking. He said he wanted us to cater an event at his home. And from that event, we got Kevin Garnett, we got Paul Pierce. We've had a couple other names that we've catered for. We do a lot of community events. We're at the Rose Bowl. We've been there for, this is our 10th year, I believe, at the Pasadena Rose Bowl. And it's just great to be a part of the community and to be able to service people and have them believe in your product. You know, we've had a lot of people ask me that, you know, why aren't you singing? I'm still singing. This is a different part of the aspect of our ministry, my wife and I. I still sing. I'm still doing things. I do a lot of things at church. I do a lot of things outside of church, do a lot of ministering. So just look for some things happening coming up real soon for my wife and I, Crystal. We are in the process of working on some things now. Matter of fact, I wrote a jingle for our company too, so you know, you get a chance to check that out. Church background. I'm a PK. I am the son of Pastor Walter McClendon, who has since gone on to be with the Lord. I grew up in church. I'm a church boy. Ever since I can remember, church has been a part of my DNA. Church was church when I didn't want to be there. Church was church when I understood what it was about. And now that's how I raise my children, you know, as a lifestyle, living our life for the Lord at church, in church, but not just at church, but the church being us, the individual. So as a child, you know, I hated church because my dad always used to make us go. He was a minister, he was a pastor. So it was one of those things that was just what we did. If you didn't go to church, you basically didn't have a place to stay. You know, it was a joke back then, but I understood what he was talking about. He was really, for how he understood and how he wanted to instill that in us, he wanted us to understand that Jesus was the way, the truth, and the life. And he instilled that in us, and it was a time when I strayed away from the church and the things of church, you know, but now that's a part of my life, and that's how I raise our children. Becoming close as a community in Pasadena. You know, I think it's a lot of things that we as a people, you know, we have this mentality, if I put you down and I can get on top. And that's always been like an unspoken thing, but now it's really, really prevalent in our community. I think what we need to do is have a self-denial and be able to understand that each one teach one. And as I help you, then my hands are open up to receive. I'm giving, and when you give, it's automatic that you receive. You know, and as a black community, we need to really stop the black on black crime. We need to stop the I'm better than you. We need to focus in on helping one another. And when we do that, I really believe that we'll see a really, really big difference in our community and our children. We have to instill in our children work ethic. We have to take on the responsibility of teaching and grabbing these children at a young age so that we can instill in them the responsibility and things that it would help them become a better human being. Future goals. You know, I think in the future we'll open up another restaurant as far as DDs Chick Cat Shack is concerned. We had a restaurant up on Fair Oaks back 2009, 2010, 2011, and which was really nice. Our future goals also was to expand DDs as far as franchising our product and franchising a real popular product, DD's Dirty Tea, and be able to have that beverage available for people when they don't see our tent, you know, around town or in other areas. So that's a good place for us to go. As far as the ministry-wise, you're going to see a lot of music from David and Crystal McClendon in the future.
When down home cooking is what you need, just.com DDs Chicken Cat Shack. We got just what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. Don't forget the dirty tea at DDs Chicken Cat Shack. Southern Fried.